Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into one of philosophy's most profound and personal questions. It's a thought experiment so heavy it could either totally crush you or change your life forever. It's basically a test for your entire existence, so let's get into it.
Okay, so to really wrap our heads around this big idea, we're going to start with a story, a little parable, something that takes this huge concept and makes it, well, human. So picture this. A wanderer stumbles upon a ruined city, right at the edge of a vast desert. Think of that city as a life that's already been lived.
So, this story, we're calling it The Parable of the Stone and the Turning Hourglass. It's a more modern tale, but it sets the stage for a choice that could define everything.
Okay, so let's really put ourselves there. This ruined city, it's like a life that's over, right? All the wins, all the losses, they're basically set in stone. But then, right in the middle of it all, there's this huge, mysterious hourglass, and it's offering a really strange opportunity. What's weird is the sand isn't moving. It's just frozen, waiting for someone to make a decision. And then, out of nowhere, this mysterious figure shows up, and they lay out the deal. It's pretty simple, but wild. They tell you if you turn this hourglass, you have to live your entire life over again. And I mean exactly the same. Every single joy, every dumb mistake, every boring moment, every bit of pain, nothing gets changed. Oh, and here's the kicker. You won't even remember that you made this choice.
So naturally, the wanderer asks the exact question we're all thinking, right? Then why would anyone turn it? I mean, what's the upside? It sounds more like a curse than a gift.
And this is where it gets really interesting. The figure explains that, yeah, most people, they hear this and they run. They curse him and flee. But a very few, they don't just accept it. They embrace it. They touch the hourglass like it's the face of someone they love. And that just hangs in the air, right? The big question, why? Why on earth would anyone do that?
Okay, so this whole parable, it's not just a story. It's actually a modern retelling of one of the toughest, most challenging thought experiments in all of philosophy. And now we're going to shift from this mysterious figure in the desert to a demon.
So where does this all come from? Well, it's from the mind of the 19th century philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, and he called this idea the greatest weight. For him, this wasn't some wise figure offering a choice. No, he imagined it being presented to you by a demon.
And the setting he paints is just so important. The demon doesn't find you in a crowd. It finds you in your loneliest loneliness. And that's when it hits you with the proposition. Your life, this exact life you're living, you're going to live it again and again and again, forever. Every single little thing, every pain, every joy, every thought, every sigh. Even he says this spider and this moonlight between the trees, all of it comes back in the exact same order.
So Nietzsche lays out two, and only two, possible reactions. They're polar opposites. On one hand, do you just completely break? You throw yourself on the ground, gnash your teeth, and curse this demon for trapping you. Or do you have this incredible, tremendous moment where you look at this demon and say, you are a god. I've never heard anything more divine. Despair or total affirmation?
And that's the real question Nietzsche is pushing on us. See, he doesn't really care if this eternal recurrence is literally true or not. That's not the point. The question is, what does the thought of it do to you? If this idea took hold of you, would it crush you, or would it completely change you?
Okay, so to really get what it means to affirm your life, to say yes to it, it helps to look at the opposite. We need to understand what it means to be crushed by that weight. So let's take a little detour into a dark mirror universe, one built entirely on meaningless consumption. So in this dark universe, there's this massive cosmic being called the all-consuming maw, and its whole existence is based on feeding. It harvests something called luch, which is basically the spiritual energy that makes you, your unique identity. And the maw's whole process, it's the exact opposite of that life affirmation we were talking about. It looks at your uniqueness, that little spark of reason that makes you an individual, and it sees a bug in the system, a mistake. Your entire identity, to the maw, that's just seasoning, a little flavor for its meal. It literally just grinds you down into ash to fill its own starving void.
Think about that. In this universe, your life has zero intrinsic value. None. You're just a resource. You're like a lump of coal for a blast furnace. You're only valuable for the heat you give off when you're completely destroyed.
And this isn't just, a biological process for the maw. It's a full-blown philosophy, a worldview that perfectly represents what it means to be utterly crushed.
They call it the gospel of the belly, and it's probably the most depressing philosophy you can imagine. Life is just a digestive tract. The universe is a trap where you either eat or get eaten. Your individuality isn't a gift, it's an error, a mistake to be erased and consumed. It's just a world of endless, bottomless greed, a total rejection of any individual worth.
Okay, let's pull these two threads together now. On one side, you've got the wanderer's choice, this radical affirmation of life. On the other, you have the Ma's philosophy of pure consumption. So what does choosing to turn that hourglass really mean when you put them side by side?
I mean, you can see how they're just completely opposed, right? For the wanderer, your individuality is everything. It's the whole reason you'd make the choice. But for the Ma, it's a bug in the system. The wanderer's path creates value by affirming life, by saying yes to all of it. The Ma's path only extracts value by destroying life.
So let's be really clear here. Turning that hourglass isn't about, enjoying pain or loving your suffering. Not at all. It's an act of defiance. It's looking a universe that might be totally meaningless and consuming right in the face and saying, no, my life, this specific, flawed, imperfect life, it has so much meaning that I would choose it again and again and again.
And here's a really crucial point from the parable. There is no forgiveness here, only confirmation. What does that mean? It means this choice doesn't get you a do-over. It doesn't erase your mistakes or forgive your sins. It confirms them. It takes every single part of you, the good and the bad, and says, yes, that's part of the package. All of it.
So the goal here isn't to try and live some kind of perfect, flawless life that would be easy to repeat. That's impossible. The real challenge, the real goal, is to live a life with so much courage, so much authenticity, that you would have the strength to say you deserve to repeat it, flaws and all. And this is how this massive cosmic thought experiment becomes something you can actually use right now. The idea is that this one question, do you desire this once more and innumerable times more, should hang over every single thing you do. It's the greatest weight because it forces you to think about how you're acting in this very moment.
And so, that's where we'll leave it. Because the question isn't hypothetical anymore, is it? The demon, the hourglass, they aren't in some old book or a parable. That hourglass is sitting right in front of you, with every choice you make every single day. The question is now yours. So, what now?